I used to think love faded quietly, like the last note of a country song disappearing into the night. But sometimes, it dies screaming, clawing, and tearing through everything you thought was solid. That's how it started with Emily and me. It was late September in Nashville. The kind of evening when the air smelled like wet leaves and barbecue smoke. I came home from the shop around 7, hands still stained with motor oil, back aching from bending under hoods all day, and found her sitting on the couch, staring at her phone. No hi. No smile. Just that blank look. The TV was on, but she wasn't watching it. I remember the flicker of the screen lighting her face, her long auburn hair falling over one shoulder, and the reflection of her phone in her eyes. Something was off. "Hey," I said, dropping my keys on the counter. "You okay?" She blinked, startled, like I'd broken a spell. "Yeah. Just tired. Work's been crazy." "Work?" She was a nurse at St. Mary's Hospital. Long shifts, night shifts, double shifts, the kind of schedule that could break a person. I used to be proud of her for it. But lately, work had become a word that made my stomach turn. I leaned against the doorframe. "You sure? You've been quiet lately." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "I'm fine, Luke." "Really?" I should have believed her. Should have taken her word and let it go. But something inside me, something instinctual, whispered that I was already losing her. It started small. Her phone, always face down. Late-night texts she forgot to answer. A perfume I didn't recognize when she came home from overtime. Then came the laughter. Not with me, but with someone else. I'd hear her in the kitchen, phone to her ear, soft giggles that made my chest tighten. When I'd ask, she'd say it was just Megan from the hospital. But one night, when I walked in unexpectedly, she hung up too fast. That's when I started noticing the lies. The pauses. The way she avoided my eyes when I kissed her goodnight. One Friday, she said she was covering a double shift. Something about the way she said it, rehearsed, careful, made me suspicious. I drove to St. Mary's around midnight, parked across the street, and waited. The emergency entrance was quiet, just a few nurses stepping out for air. I watched every face, every silhouette. But she wasn't there. At 12:37 a.m., my phone buzzed. A text from her. "Still at work. Probably won't be home until late. Don't wait up, red heart." The heart emoji made me sick. I stayed until 2 a.m., watching. No sign of her. When she finally came home the next morning, her hair was a mess, her scrubs wrinkled, but her eyes were glowing. And that's when I knew. She wasn't tired. She was alive. Alive in a way she hadn't been with me in months. I didn't confront her right away. I wanted proof. Not whispers in my head, evidence. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I followed her. On a Wednesday afternoon, I left work early, parked down the street from the hospital, and waited. At 4:23 p.m., she walked out, smiling. Not alone. He was tall, maybe mid-30s, dark hair, the kind of clean-cut look that screamed, "Doctor." He touched her arm when she laughed. She didn't pull away. They got into his black Lexus. I followed. They drove to a little motel off Highway 70. Cheap, hidden behind a row of trees. Room 212. She looked back once, scanning the lot, then disappeared inside with him. I sat in my truck for almost an hour, gripping the steering wheel so hard my hands went numb. I didn't cry. Didn't scream. I just stared at the neon sign blinking vacancy through my windshield and thought, this is how it ends. When she came home that night, I played along. Pretended nothing was wrong. Listened to her talk about patience and charting errors and exhausting shifts. But inside, I was unraveling. Every lie was a blade. Every smile, a wound. At dinner, I asked, "You ever feel like, we're different now?" She froze, fork halfway to her mouth. "What do you mean?" "I mean," I said slowly, "like you're somewhere else. Even when you're here." Her voice was steady, but her eyes darted away. "You're imagining things, Luke." That was the moment I realized, she wasn't going to confess. She'd rather burn everything down than tell me the truth. 2 nights later, she showered before bed and left her phone on the nightstand. Unlocked. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might wake her. I scrolled through her messages. Most were harmless, friends, co-workers, until I found one name, A. A, miss you already. Emily, wish I could have stayed longer. A, you smell like vanilla. Can't get it out of my head. Emily, don't. I'll start crying. I felt my throat tighten. There it was. Everything I didn't want to see. I read until I couldn't breathe. Plans. Inside jokes. Love. And then one line that shattered me. A, he'll never know. The next evening, I waited for her to come home. The house was dark except for one lamp in the living room. I'd poured myself a whiskey, left her phone open on the coffee table. When she walked in, I said nothing. Just nodded toward it. She froze. "What is this? You tell me." Her face went pale. She reached for the phone, but I grabbed it first. "I followed you, Emily." Silence. "I saw you with him." "The motel. Room 212. Her lip trembled. "Luke. Don't. Don't you dare lie to me." For a long time, she just stood there, silent, broken. Then the tears came. "It wasn't supposed to happen," she whispered. "He listened to me. You don't anymore. You're always tired, angry, distant." "Because I was trying to build a life for us." I shouted. "Every damn day I was out there working, thinking I was doing something good for you, for us. And you." She sobbed. "I'm sorry. But it wasn't enough." She moved out 3 days later. Took her clothes, her perfume, her silence. The house felt hollow. Even the walls seemed to echo with her absence. People at work noticed the change in me. I stopped talking, stopped laughing. Everything smelled like her, the couch, the sheets, the air. And yet, part of me missed her so much it hurt to breathe. I drove by that motel once more, just to see. Room 212's curtains were open. Empty. Maybe he'd left her, too. Months passed. Divorce papers came in the mail, cold, clinical, final. I signed them without reading. One night, I got a call. Unknown number. It was him. The doctor. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry," he said. "She told me she was leaving you long before I got involved." I didn't mean to. I hung up before he could finish. Because the truth was, I didn't hate him. I hated her. And maybe, a little, I hated myself, for not seeing it sooner. A year later, I still live in that house in East Nashville. I kept the walls bare, the rooms quiet. Sometimes I hear her laughter in the hallways, soft and ghost-like. Sometimes I imagine her standing by the window, hair lit by morning sun, looking at me the way she used to. Then I remember room 212. And everything goes dark again. Love doesn't fade quietly. It dies like thunder. And the silence afterward, that's the part that kills you. It's funny how silence can become a habit. A year had passed since Emily left, and the quiet had become part of my life, like an old scar you stop noticing until it aches on cold mornings. The shop was doing fine. Better, actually. I'd started taking on more work, fixing up old Chevys and Mustangs for guys who still believed that engines had souls. But the nights, the nights were the same. I'd sit on the porch, drink a beer, and listen to the city hum, crickets, distant music from the bars downtown, sometimes rain hitting the tin roof. That's when I'd think of her. Not the Emily who lied. Not the one from the motel. But the one from before, when we'd dance barefoot in the kitchen, when she'd press her cold hands against my back just to make me flinch and laugh. Memory's a cruel thing. It only keeps the good parts when you're trying to forget. It happened on a Tuesday. I was closing up the shop when my phone buzzed. A number I didn't recognize. Unknown. Hey, Luke. It's been a long time. For a few seconds, I just stared at it. That tone. That simplicity. Emily. My throat went dry. I hadn't heard from her in months, not since she'd moved to Franklin with him, the doctor. I typed and erased 3 replies before finally sending. Me, what do you want? A long pause. Then. Emily, can we talk? Please. It's important. I should have ignored it. Should have deleted her number and gone home. But curiosity, or maybe something darker, made me answer. Me, tomorrow. 6 p.m. Bluebird Cafe. It was the place we used to go on Fridays. A quiet corner of Nashville where dreams and heartbreaks shared the same stage. When she walked in the next evening, it was like time folded. Same soft hair, same perfume, vanilla and regret. But her eyes, they were different. Sadder. She sat across from me, hands trembling around a coffee cup. Thanks for coming, she said softly. Didn't come for you, I muttered. Just wanted to see what could possibly be important. She looked down. I left him. I laughed, a sharp, bitter sound that turned heads. Congratulations. History repeats itself. Luke, please, she whispered. It wasn't like that. Really? You cheated, lied, destroyed everything we had, and now you want me to care that you got your heart broken? Her eyes welled up. He wasn't who I thought he was. I leaned back, arms crossed. And what am I supposed to be? The man you run back to when things fall apart? No, she said quietly. Just the man I owe an apology. That stopped me. For a long time, neither of us spoke. Then she slid a folded photo across the table. It was of a little girl, maybe 2 years old. Blonde curls. Blue eyes. My heart stopped. She's yours, Emily said. I didn't say anything. I couldn't. My hands were shaking. My chest felt like it was caving in. Her name's Lily, she said. Born 8 months after I left. I didn't tell you because I didn't think you'd want to see me again. I stared at the picture. The kid had my eyes. There was no denying it. All the anger, the hate, it collapsed under something heavier. You kept my daughter from me, I said quietly. I was scared, she whispered. I thought you'd hate me. I thought. You thought wrong. I stood up, heart pounding. I want to see her. Emily nodded. Tomorrow. My place. As I walked out of the cafe, the rain started falling, slow at first, then harder, drumming against my jacket. But inside, everything was burning. Her apartment was small, neat, filled with things that didn't belong to me. And then, there she was. Lily. She was sitting on the carpet, surrounded by toys, babbling to herself. When she looked up, she smiled, that innocent, heart-wrecking smile kids have before the world teaches them pain. I froze in the doorway. Emily whispered, Lily, this is Daddy. The word hit me like a punch. She toddled toward me, clumsy and curious, and when her tiny hand wrapped around my finger, everything inside me shattered. I knelt, eyes stinging. Hey there, sweetheart. That was all I could manage before tears took over. Over the next few weeks, I started visiting. At first awkwardly, then naturally. Emily kept her distance, respectful. She didn't ask for forgiveness, not directly, but it was in her eyes every time she saw me play with Lily. And I hated that part of me still loved her for it. One night, after I'd put Lily to bed, Emily handed me a glass of wine. "Do you ever think we could have made it work?" she asked quietly. I stared at the floor. "No. You killed it." She nodded slowly. "I know. But I still think about you." "Don't," I said. "You'll just ruin this too." But the truth was, I still thought about her too. It was late one night when Emily called, her voice shaking. "Luke, can you come over? Please." When I arrived, the apartment door was open. Lily was asleep in her crib. Emily sat on the couch, clutching a piece of paper. "He's back," she said. "The doctor. He's been following me. Leaving notes. I think he knows about Lily." I felt something inside me snap. "Where is he?" "I don't know," she whispered. "But I'm scared." I walked to the window. Outside, the parking lot shimmered under yellow light, empty, except for a black Lexus. The same car I'd followed a year ago. He didn't expect me. I waited by his car until he came down, carrying that same smug expression I remembered from the motel. When he saw me, his smirk faded. "Luke," he said cautiously. "This isn't. Stay away from her." He raised his hands. "You don't understand. She told me it was over between you two." "She tells a lot of things," I said coldly. "But this time, I'm not asking." He took a step closer. "You think she's yours again?" "She's just lonely, man. That's all." Something in me broke. My fist connected with his jaw before I even realized I'd swung. He stumbled back, blood on his lip. "If you ever come near my daughter again," I said, voice low and shaking, "I'll make sure you regret breathing." After that night, he disappeared. No calls. No Lexus. Emily thanked me, but I could see the fear, not of him, but of me. We didn't talk much after that. The visits became less frequent. Then one day, I came to the apartment, and it was empty. No note. No trace. Just gone. It's been 6 months. No word from Emily. No sign of Lily. I filed missing person reports, called hospitals, even checked out-of-state databases. Nothing. Sometimes I wonder if she ran because of him, or because of me. The only thing she left behind was that photo. Lily, smiling in a field of daisies. I keep it in my wallet. At night, I still hear her laugh. Both of them, Emily's and Lily's, echoing through the house like ghosts. And I realize something cruelly simple. Some betrayals never end. They just change shape. Now, it's not the affair that haunts me. It's the silence that came after.